Yeah, I would just say to your point, it's like we've kind of, as humans, we're like the only species that doesn't actually know what real food is. And it's been like the last 100 years, but maybe even the last like 40 or 50 years where things have gone drastically wrong. And so, you know, Harry and I'm 29, Harry's 30. We've kind of had both of our experiences with nutrition and trying to discover what food is at a young age. And we both kind of leaned into our own like anecdotal stories, like not looking at a peer-reviewed study, but just kind of understanding what's worked really well for us. So for me, I was telling you a little bit off camera. So I got really sick when I was 21 years old, my senior year of college. I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which is an autoimmune disease that affects your colon. And any itis, whether it's, you know, colitis, proctitis, anything like that. Itis just means severe inflammation in the body. So for me, whether it was probably a combination of stress, poor dietary choices, consuming too much alcohol, lifestyle, etc. I developed a severe inflammation in my colon. And so my body wasn't able to process any of the foods that I was eating. I was basically just going to the bathroom a bunch to the point where I like lost 30 pounds. I was hospitalized and I was put on these biologic drugs that it was $400,000 a year. I would get them administered through an infusion. And I think the number of people in the US that have autoimmune disease, I think it tips at like 20 million people. And these diseases really didn't exist over 100 years ago, which is really interesting. And so for me, everything changed in 2019 because I started hearing this term, the carnivore diet, being popularized. I listened to Dr. Sean Baker on Joe Rogan's podcast, like a lot of people did. And he was explaining that animal products are wrongly demonized. And they're some of the most nutrient-dense foods that you can put into your system. And they're also the most bioavailable. So the body processes these things incredibly well. And the kicker for me is he was saying that all these people that had similar autoimmune diseases and also diabetes and some of these other incurable chronic diseases were curing these things by following an all-animal products diet. So for me, I'm 23, 24 years old. I don't want to be on drugs that cost $400,000 a year. So I'm like, why would I not at least experiment and see if there's anything to this? Literally within the first 2 weeks, my stomach got way better. I was down going to the bathroom 1 to 2 times a day, which was like, I went from going 20 times a day to 1 to 2 times a day. My skin got better. I was effortlessly putting muscle on at the gym. I was popping out of bed with like energy, alertness, anxiety that I had, depression, things like that all went away. So for me, that was kind of my moment of like, food really is medicine and you need to treat yourself like you're someone that matters. And the foods that we've been told are healthy really are not healthy. And the foods that we've demonized are actually some of the most nutrient dense products. So that was kind of the launch pad for the show because I ended up following this diet for 2+ years, got off all the drugs. My GI doctor, who's had thousands of patients, to my knowledge, I'm the only patient that's ever gotten off of this medication before. And I can confidently say it's because of the foods that I was choosing to nourish my body with. So to get back to your question, we've really just lost this ability to understand what food actually is. Like, you know, we're the most capable, intelligent species, yet we're the only species that doesn't actually know what foods we should be choosing to put into our body, which is super counterintuitive. But that was kind of the launch pad of our show, is just trying to figure out like, where have we gone wrong as a society? What actually are the right foods and how do we become healthy again and thrive?